Hi everyone! Welcome back to C1 Novel and Vocab Week 15. And this video here is for our novel and difficult phrases. So let's get started. Why are we doing this? This is for our difficult phrases from our novel, and this is to help with cultural fluency. By becoming familiarized with different slang and colloquialisms, which means different sayings, students will be able to relate to the novel and incorporate, which means use, these phrases to convey and show their ideas more precisely. Meaning, we're going to look at some of these examples from our novel, and then after we're able to understand by watching this video, you can also use it in your daily speech. And this video is for a crooked kind of perfect, and we'll be looking at pages 84 through 121. So if you don't already, please go ahead and get your novel book because we'll be reading some of the passages together. Okay? Let's get started. Everyone, please go to page 86. And you're like, wait, Miss Kimberly, I don't want to go to page 86. It's so short. You're right. And here it is just the, can you see? Title of our chapter. It says, go figure. But this is a little idiom that many people use a lot. Go figure. Have you heard of it before? No? Then I will explain. Go figure. This phrase is used when something happens that seems strange or surprising, and it basically means, isn't that odd? Or, who would have thought? Or, did you know? An example that we can use this phrase is when, say that she always says she hates vegetables, but she loves spinach pie. Go figure. Meaning, she always hated vegetables, but she likes this type of food that has spinach in it, which is a vegetable. And they're saying, go figure. Isn't that odd? Even though she said that she hates vegetables, but she likes this. Go figure. The origin of this phrase, go figure, comes from the idea of trying to figure something out that doesn't make sense. So imagine you're trying to solve a puzzle that seems impossible to do. That's what this phrase is about. It's like, go figure. Did you know? But why these words? Go here suggests taking action, like telling someone to start doing something. And figure here means to solve or understand something. So when we put them together for go figure, it means try to understand this strange thing. Did you know? Who knew? So it's quite interesting. So you can always use this in your daily speech. When you're talking with your friends and you're like, isn't that weird? Instead of saying, isn't that weird? You can just say, go figure. Try it next time. Next one, this one's even longer. Now let's go to page 90. Page 90. And I will start from the third indent. It says, Mom never asks me. Do you see where I am? Good. It says, Mom never asks me. It's faster just to go out by yourself and dash into the market without dragging somebody else along who might start begging for a bag of better made potato chips. Which I wouldn't do, because today is the day I'm going to tell everybody that I am quitting. And thinking about telling everybody that I am quitting is making my stomach all twisty, and I couldn't eat anything anyway. So here, she was going to the grocery store with her mom and basically saying she wants some bag of potato chips, which she always gets. But right now, her stomach is all twisty. What does that mean? As you can see in my pictures here, it may give you a little clue. My stomach all twisty. This phrase describes the feeling of being really nervous or anxious. Like when you have butterflies in your stomach. Have you heard of that idiom before? Butterflies in your stomach, or it feels like your stomach is in knots. So knots, twisty, butterflies. An example of this could be Before the big spelling bee, where everyone has to spell, like a spelling test, my stomach was all twisty because I was so nervous. Meaning they weren't confident. And in this sentence, in this phrase from our novel, it's basically saying Zoe wants to tell everyone that she's going to quit playing the organ, but she's kind of scared to tell everyone. She's not really that ready yet. But why do we use the word twisty here? The idea comes from the way that your stomach can feel when you're really nervous or worried about something. It feels like it's twisting and turning inside. So as you can see in these pictures here, both of them are like, ooh, my stomach. And as you can see in the second picture, there's a picture of a stomach that's not too happy. It kind of looks happy though. But why these words, twisty? It describes a twisting motion, and saying your stomach feels twisty means it feels like it's turning in circles. Because again, you're nervous and anxious. So again here, Zoe is quite nervous about telling everyone that she's thinking about quitting. So what are some times that make you or your stomach feel all twisty? Before a monthly test? Maybe before telling your parents that you broke something? Those are all times when you may be feeling a bit nervous. So next time, instead of just saying, oh, I feel so nervous, you can say, oh, my stomach's all twisty. Okay, great. Page 91, the next page. Let's see. I want to start from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5. Let's look at the fifth indent, and it says probably on page 91. If you're not ready yet, please pause the video. Make sure that you're there so that you see what I'm reading. Probably. Probably I practice about 2 or 3 hours a day, he says. This is when Zoe's listening to the radio. Plus, I'm in orchestra at school, so that's another hour. And she's thinking, 4 hours a day. And this piece that you played today, the Bach Cello Suite number 3, how long have you been working on that? And the boy on the radio says, that's a competition piece. I started working on it in the fall. I still mess it up sometimes. The audience laughs. This part still trips me up, he says. And, page 92. And then he plays for a minute or two. I don't hear any tripping. The audience doesn't either. And they hoot and clap some more. So here, this is when Daniel, this boy on the radio, is sharing about how he plays the piano and, how he plays, and he's so, or not the piano, the cello, and he's saying, this part still trips me up. But what is trip? Isn't trip when we kind of fall, like our second picture here? She's tripping on the chord. But what does it mean it says, this part still trips me up? This phrase means to cause someone to make a mistake or get confused. Like when something is difficult to understand and causes you to kind of stumble in your thinking. So we're not tripping literally. We're tripping and stumbling in our thoughts. The example that we can say for this is, the hard math problem trips me up every time I try to solve it. So you're like, oh, it's always so confusing. I always get it wrong, or I always make a mistake because it's a hard math problem. The origin, it comes from the idea of tripping over something while walking, as you can see in my second picture, causing you to stumble or fall. When you trip over something, you lose your balance, right? Similarly, when something trips you up in your thinking, it causes you to lose your mental balance and you make mistakes. So this is why Daniel says, this part trips me up. So there's a part that he's playing in his song on the cello, which means, oh, this part's kind of difficult, so I kind of make mistakes all the time. But they don't hear any tripping, meaning he didn't make any mistakes. Trip here again is used because it suggests falling, and we use me up means it happens to you. Trips me up, put it all together, means something causes you to stumble or make mistakes in what you're doing or thinking. So is there something that trips you up? To be honest, since I was born in America and English is my first and native language, numbers in Korean trips me up sometimes. For example, like the words for starting from 50, 60, 70, 80, and 90 in Korean, it trips me up because I don't know which one is which. I kind of get confused. That's my little confession for you. What's something that trips you up? Maybe vocabulary? Maybe math? Maybe science? Or maybe, like Daniel here, playing an instrument. Page 104. Let's go to page 104. Please get your book. And we'll start. Let's go to page 103 and start from the last indent. It says, I try it again. It says, I try it again. I say the words in my head. Colton's shell is smitten with me. More goosebumps. And my, page 104, stomach is twisty. In a good way. And I hear this sweet ringing sound like church bells or doorbell, says Wheeler. Doorbell? Go open it, goober, he says. Oh yeah, open it. Miss Person. What is she doing here? Oh yeah, my lesson. So goober. This word goober. It can be meaning in a good way or kind of in a silly way, but let me explain. Goober. This is a funny or silly way to call someone goofy or a little clumsy. It's a playful term used to describe someone who is acting in a funny or silly way. So here in this sentence, Zoe heard the doorbell, but she was just standing there because she kept thinking about Colton and how he was smitten over her. So she wasn't opening it. So that's why Wheeler says, go open it, goober. Meaning, go open it, silly. An example that we can use this is, ugh, you're such a goober for wearing your shoes on the wrong feet. So maybe by mistake you wore your left shoe on your right foot and vice versa. Meaning, you're so silly. You made a little mistake. However, the origin of this word is quite interesting. The word goober originally comes from a southern U.S. slang for peanut, as you can see in this picture. You may have been like, why did Miss Kimberly put a peanut picture? It's because goober was a nickname or what people called a peanut long time ago. And then after time, people started using it to describe someone who was being silly or goofy. Why? I'm not quite sure either. But it used to be the word for peanut. Goober, though, here sounds really funny and playful, doesn't it? So using it to describe someone in a light-hearted way means that they're being amusing or silly. And like calling them a little peanut in a fun way. However, goober can also be used in a negative way. So it really depends on who you're using it with. Make sure that if you do use this word, make sure that you guys are really close friends and that nobody's feelings gets hurt. Goober, meaning silly. Page 107. Let's go to page 107. Uh-oh, I think this video is going to be short. And I'll start from the very top. 107. The title of this chapter says, My Boyfriend. All afternoon, Wheeler Diggs is calling Colton Shell my boyfriend. Only he says it like this. Boyfriend. That's why the boy is italicized. At the drinking fountain, he says, your boyfriend wore another new shirt today. After science, he says, for such a shrimp, your boyfriend eats a lot of tater tots. Too bad your boyfriend didn't study for his science test, he says on the bus. He's not my boyfriend, I say. But I blush, and Wheeler calls him my boyfriend again. As you can see, as I was reading this, whenever I said boy in the italicized where the words are slanted, I made sure to stress it a bit more because that's what the author was trying to do. But here, let's go back to what I'm trying to get to. For such a shrimp. So here, Wheeler is describing Colton as a shrimp. Oh, why? Here's a little funny cartoon, shrimp with eyes. Here, this phrase is used to describe someone who is small, but does something impressive or unexpected. It's a way of saying that even though someone is small, they are capable of doing big things. So for example, we can use it in a sentence like, for such a shrimp, he can lift really heavy weights. Meaning, even though he's super small and doesn't have that much muscles, he is able to carry a lot of heavy things. So in this sentence here, for such a shrimp, for such a little boy, Colton, he eats a lot of tater tots. And just in case if you didn't know what tater tots was, I added a little picture here. They're little fried potato, yummy deliciousness. They're so yummy. So he's saying Colton is so small, but he eats a lot of these tater tots. For such a shrimp. The origin, shrimp is a nickname for someone who is small or similar to the small sea creature, this shrimp here. As you can imagine, a shrimp is very small compared to an octopus or a whale. It's often used in a playful or affectionate way to describe a person's size, so meaning they're very small. So here, shrimp is small and cute, so calling someone a shrimp highlights their small size. And so they're just saying, for such a shrimp, which means emphasizing the surprise at their big abilities despite being small. So here, for such a shrimp, he eats a lot of tater tots. As you can see in this picture here also, this boy is very short. And you can call people a shrimp, but if they don't like being called that because of their smallness or their shortness, it's not a very nice thing to say. Unless you're close friends. For such a shrimp. So they're like, oh, for such a shrimp, that first grader sure can carry a lot of books. Like one time I saw at M.I, a very, very small little cute first grader had a huge backpack, like twice the size of the student. And I could say, for such a shrimp, he's able to carry such a big backpack. Very good. And that is the end of our video here. So as you can see, these idioms use specific words to create such vivid images or feelings, helping to express ideas in a fun and memorable way. So by using these phrases, we can communicate complex thoughts and emotions in a way that's easy for us to understand and relate to, which is our vocabulary word from our other video. So before we move on, secret mission time. In the readings for this week, we see something. And my question is, what page number do we see the title of the book? And what was Zoe describing? Here, I do not want you to say page 1, the title page. But no, within the book, we see the title, A Crooked Kind of Perfect. And Zoe said this to describe something, and what is that? I don't need a very long answer. A lot of you have just written like on a small sheet of paper, which is perfect. I love it. So I would like you to write this down, what page number and what Zoe was describing. Two things, page number, what it is. Okay? And also, I gave out a round of M.I dollars for those who finished this top secret mission. So make sure, after you're done writing this down, you can go to the front desk and there is a pink bucket. It says YouTube missions on it. Go ahead and put it in there, or you can ask the desk teacher to put it in there for you. So that is our mission. In our last videos, I didn't make it this big, but I would like everyone to participate, please, and get your M.I dollars. So now, it is time for you to review and self-study. And this is for contextual mastery. Review the phrases again, read it out loud, reread the novel where these phrases came from, or maybe just reread the whole chapters, and complete your novel homework. Okay? And also, finish the mission. And that is the end of this video, everyone. I hope to see you guys all next week. And thank you. Bye.